Hey all, my name is Paul Borosky and I am the owner of Quality Business Plan, and what we're going to do today is continue on with my Mastering Pro Forma Financial Projection series, and specifically what we're going to be talking about is Step 6, Best Case and Worst Case Scenarios, why you should include them, how to include them, and so on and so forth. So the way the video is going to play out is first and foremost going to go ahead and give you a little bit of background about me, who I am, what I do, and why I do it. And then after that, we'll dive into the best case and worst case scenarios to how to include them into your pro forma financial projections for your business plan. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and zip through this whole presentation. As promised, a little bit about me. Again, Paul Borosky, doctoral candidate, MBA, as well as owner of Quality Business Plan and Quality Business Consultant. I am a professional writer, specifically a business plan writer. So if y'all want to avoid all the fun and excitement, trials and tribulations, growth opportunities of writing your own business plan, feel free to pick up the phone, give me a call, send me a text, send me email. My contact information is right here. I would be delighted to write a business plan for you. I am also a published author on Amazon.com. Check out some of my books there. They're focused on business plan writing as well as understanding financial statements. And then finally, I am an adjunct professor and subject matter expert in both business and finance. So if you do need some help with those best case financial projections, business plans ready to go, but those numbers are keeping you up at night, I'd be delighted to do your financial projections for you. Again, pick up the phone, give me a call, send me a text, send me an email. Be delighted to help. And enough about me. Let's go ahead and talk about best case and worst case scenarios. So typically in a business plan, a client is going to go ahead, or I'm going to go ahead and include a pro forma income statement for projections for revenues, for expenses, and for net profits for the next 5 years. However, there is no way that that income statement, that pro forma income statement, is going to be correct. I mean, we're trying to predict the future for the next 5 years for usually a company that hasn't even been established yet, or for a company that's looking to expand with the infusion of significant funds. The whole landscape is going to change. So there's no way we're going to be able to predict what the revenues are going to be. However, a better practice than just including a pro forma income statement is to give the reader a range of what you expect your revenues and your expenses and your costs to be, and that's where your best case and worst case scenario come in. When in the best case and worst case scenario, we're going to give them our ideal pro forma income statement, which is the income statement we're going to actually include in the business plan, and then we're going to give the reader a range of what we think we can do based on our financial assumptions. So the way to create that in Excel is, first thing you need to do is you need to create your income statement. So if you're using a financial model, great. If you want to use the one that I have, I've got a basic financial model and an advanced financial model. Regardless of what you do, what you have to start off is, you start off with a base, and my base right here is my pro forma income statement, and the base is what we think we can do for the client. Based on the assumption that they give us. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and then grow your revenues at a specific dollar amount, and then also for the worst case scenario, you're going to want to reduce your revenues at a specific dollar amount. Typically, when I use my financial models on my information page, I'm going to go ahead and make those changes right here under the best case, worst case modifications. Typically, I'll go and I'll grow my revenues at 15%, and then I'll reduce my revenues at 20%. And the objective of doing this is I want to show I'm going to be able to make a profit, typically for both scenarios. All right, so with this scenario right here, when I grow my revenues by 15%, the revenues right here are going to grow. Now, the next thing what you want to do is you want to make some modifications to your document, and you want to be able to show that your cost of goods are going to be a percentage of the revenues. In this scenario, my cost of goods is 25%. So all that means is I'm going to take whatever my revenues are, I'm going to multiply that by 25%, and that's going to be my cost of goods. When you follow that structure, your revenues are going to increase at the appropriate amount, and then your cost of goods are going to increase as a percentage of your revenues. Now for my expenses, I'm going to leave all these other expenses the same. I just want to show a basic best case, worst case scenario, which is what's going to happen if my revenues increase and all my costs stay the same, and what's going to happen if my revenues decrease by a specific amount with all my costs staying the same, except of course our variable costs, which are our cost of goods sold. And so for the same worst case scenario, I follow the same structure. I'm going to reduce my revenues by, in this case, 20%. And by tying in a cost of goods sold as a percentage, then the model is going to automatically reduce my cost of goods. And we can see that the revenues are now 613, whereas they were 881. And then in our initial budget was 766. And once we make those changes and we keep our fixed costs the same, for this scenario, we're showing a loss of $41,000 for the first year. However, we are showing an increase in net income for the best case scenario of $119,650. And if we look at the base model, our net income expected was $50,000. So if we are able to grow our revenues by 15%, that's going to more than double our profit. So it looks like a real good scenario for the best case. Worst case scenario, a little bit of a concern because the net income right here, it's going to be negative $41,000 for the first year. We're going to be able to break a profit for the second and third year, but for year 4 and year 5 is going to be a struggle. And so that just tells us from the reader perspective is that we've got a solid income statement. Our projections right here are solid. And for the best case, worst case scenario, we can be doing really good if things go well. But if things are starting to struggle, if our revenues are not growing as high as we like them to be, then we're going to have a little bit of financial straits with the worst case scenario. So hopefully this information was helpful. So let's go ahead and wrap it up and sum it up. Hopefully this information was helpful in mastering your pro forma financial projections. If you are interested in purchasing the template that I used in this video, you can just go to this link right here. And the template that I used was my advanced financial template version. And again, you can purchase it on this link. If you want a more basic template, I also offer a basic version of the template that I just used for this example. And you can, again, purchase that template right here for the financial model. If you don't want to mess around with templates and you just want somebody to do your financial projections for you, feel free to contact me. Check out my prices page. Love to write you a business plan, of a custom business plan. Love to do your financial projections for you. Completely up to you. Just let me know if I can be of service. And then finally, let's wrap it up with tutorials. If you want some more tutorials on better understanding or mastering your pro forma financial projections, just go to this link right here. All right, hopefully this information was helpful. Go out, make a little bit of money, and have a great day.